Namaste. This is Sharmi Adhikari, and we welcome you to the first episode of Beyond the Reels. The 1921 Moplah Genocide was a dark chapter in the history of the civilisational state of Bharat, with over 10,000 Hindus brutally massacred by Moplah Muslims. It was a direct outcome of the Khilafat movement that was espoused by none other than Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But the left would have you believe that this was a mere peasant uprising where poor Muslims were raising their voice against cruel Hindu landlords demanding their rights. The truth, however, is far from this. But any attempt to debunk this left narrative has always been met with stiff resistance. Hence, it is not surprising that film director Ramasimhan Abubakar's upcoming movie Pura Muthal, Pura Vare has been denied a censor certificate by the Kerala Censor Committee. While the film deals with this subject of the Moplah genocide of the Hindus by the Muslims in the Malabar region, it is quite interesting to note whether he's facing a backlash by the Islamist communist lobby, because very recently he reconverted to the Hindu fold from Islam. Earlier his name was Ali Akbar. Earlier there was a film called Varyam Kunnan that was announced, and it would deal with the same subject. But this earlier film, based on the lives of Kunja Hamid Haji and Ali Musaliar, would glorify the jihadis who perpetrated the murders against the Hindus by the Mopla Muslims. When this movie was announced, a lot of people showed outrage and went and met Abu Bakr and requested him to make a film that would depict with honesty the truth about the Moplah genocide. That how the Hindus faced so much of atrocities by the Moplah Muslims. It was then that Abu Bakr conceptualized Pura Muthal Pura Vare, and he went on to make the movie, and it was completely crowdfunded. But the director did face a lot of resistance from the very beginning, especially from a lady called Parvati, who he suspects is a communist. And after the first screening of the film, his film was directly referred to the revision committee in Mumbai that belongs to the Central Board of Film Certification, and it was kind of checked. The director was happy with the A certificate that was given to the film, but after he returned to Kerala, he was called back. He realized the movie would be questioned again and there would be bigger cuts. One of the biggest and first cuts that the movie faced was of the Thuvur well incident. On 25th of September in 1921, the northern Kerala barren hillside near the Thuvul well region, one of the prominent Khilafat leaders, Chambaseri Imbichi Koithangal, called a rally that was attended by 4,000 of his followers. There, over 40 Hindus were brought to him with hands tied behind their back. 38 were murdered and the rest were beheaded and thrown into the well. The CBFC doesn't want this brutal truth to be out to the public. One of the dialogues in the film directly refers to Al-Dhawla, or the Islamic State that was established by the Moplah Muslims in the Malabar region. Earlier records show and prove that this was clearly and evidently an independent area where jizya was being imposed on the Hindus. But a scene that was depicting this very incident and this very occurrence, when it was aired before the CBFC, they questioned the director on Islam and on Sharia, and completely went on and completely kind of cut out the scene from the film. In the film, there are many scenes that show the real carnage that happened during the 1921 Moplah genocide. Apart from the carnage, there were innumerable forcible conversions of the Hindus, some slaughtering of cows to hurt Hindu sentiment, several thousand beheadings, and temples, many temples were razed and desecrated to the ground. All these scenes were disallowed. In fact, the committee told and forced the director to minimize the scenes where chants of Allahu Akbar and Naraye Takbir has been used. What the committee is essentially trying is to dilute the essence of the film, which wants to show the real brutalities of the 1921 Mopla Hindu genocide. The director feels that maybe the censor board is under the influence of the lady called Parvati, who is a communist and who wants to peddle the communist narrative of this massacre being a peasant uprising, where the poor Muslims were, raising a voice against their Hindu landlords. So everywhere in the film where the Hindu kings of the area have been referred to as the lords, it has been changed. They have asked the director to change it to landlords. It's interesting to note that when the director went to register the Hindi version of the film with the name 1921, Nadi Se Nadi Tak, he found that the name was already registered by somebody else. He tried 20 variations of the name, but all of them were taken. Is it a mere coincidence or a conspiracy to not let the truth of the 1921 Mopla Hindu genocide reach a larger audience? When we have had films on many riots that has happened in the country, we are not judging whether the facts were presented honestly, or they were verified, or whether they were distorted, or a different kind of narrative was spilled to the public. But here, when there is a film on a genocide that was of a huge stature, and over 10,000 Hindus were butchered by Moplah Muslims, why is the communist Islamist lobby trying to stifle the voice of the director over here? If they can prove something that is wrong in the narrative of the film, they should present a counter argument instead of just kind of trying to stonewall the film. The Central Board of Film Certification is also forcing Abu Bakr to use his Muslim name, Ali Akbar, as the director of the film. Why would they do that? Is the establishment insecure about a director who reconverted to the Hindu fold recently make a film on the real brutalities of the 1921 Mopla Hindu genocide? After all this, the director has also kind of revealed the kind of problems that the team faced during the filming of the movie. They were not allowed to shoot at different public locations. Several crew members were threatened by Islamic radicals so that they would dissociate with the film. Also, they were not allowed to go to the Thubur well region, which has been purchased by the Muslims. It's quite shocking. Is the Islamic radicals still trying to establish a Muslim caliphate in the Malabar region? After all the difficulties, the director has decided to approach the High Court to seek justice against the cuts imposed on his film by the CBFC. What do you think is going to be the legitimate outcome of all this? Tell us in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Vande Matram.